Hey, welcome and join your blended family. All the B fams out there, what is up? We are here on a Monday.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of one of those. We just got back from vacation and here we are. We just said, you know what? Let's hit the record button and let's just go live. Let's do this. Fighting tooth and nail, trying to get off the vacation high and just trying to get back into reality. It can be a challenge.
Yeah, and we're going to share a little bit more of that and the intentionality and why you got to make those things happen here in just a minute. But I did want to say, just in case you haven't realized, all summer we have had incredible guests on talking about very specific topics and just giving us some insight in some certain areas to help our step families. And we have missed Randall. He's only been here a couple times.
I've just been a fan, a cheerleader, shouting on the sidelines, going, yeah, enjoying your blended family, the B fans, what's up?
Yes. And I know they've missed you.
Well, I kept trying to, there's a spot, like if you want to be a guest on our podcast, there's like this thing you got to go through and you got to fill out, and you got to get selected, and all this. It's just a really hard process to get in. And I've been filling that out for quite some time to get back on. And I just hadn't been able to. I just didn't make the cut.
There were just some really good people that wanted to record on the podcast.
Yes. It's like, Randall, you're out. Sorry. Low man on the totem pole,
But this one, I couldn't do it without you. So,
she's like, Randall, please come back. And I'm like, well, okay, I don't know. So no, all jokes aside, we are talking on a fun topic, a serious topic, but it is celebrating your anniversary, and it's trying to make that a special thing, and so often we can lose that. So we're going to talk more on that. So even if you're single and you're listening to this is one just to kind of embed into your heart, into your soul. Just, you're remembering this whenever you are in a relationship, and those who are in relationships. This is something that we can just take for granted at times. Yeah. And so we're going to kind of share the pitfalls that you can actually fall into and how this can actually hurt your blended family, your step family out there if we don't take this stuff serious. And when I say serious, I don't mean like it's serious. I mean, it's like fun serious, but it's like you gotta prioritize it, and there's a special thing whenever you do.
Yeah, because it is an important event. Celebrating another year is very important.
It is.
Because you made it.
We did. I know. You made it.
So we're going to talk a little bit
more
about
and we want to make it even more special. Holla. So here we go. We'll be back right after this.
All right. So we're back talking about celebrating your anniversary. And just like we were saying right before we went to the intro, most of y'all are going through your second marriage, or you're married to somebody in their second marriage. And if you've gone through a marriage and a divorce, there is a blessing in the middle of that. You want to know what that is?
Yeah, please tell us. We're like sitting on the edge of our seats.
The blessing in the middle of a divorce is that you actually learn to appreciate and celebrate, and you don't take for granted, at least in our opinion, you don't take for granted the fact that you found somebody that wants to do life with you. You made it a whole nother year together. And that in itself is just a huge accomplishment, because we know the effects if you don't make it another year. You end up with another marriage in your past.
Yeah, and as I think we get so caught up in all this step family drama that we forget that. Mm-hmm. And that's something that's really easy, because whenever we say it all the time, when you get together, it's lovey-dovey. You're on this high, the new relationship high is what it is. And you got all these endorphins firing off and going all over. And then all of a sudden you get into your first year, you say, I do, your kids are coming together, your family's coming together, all the step relationships are coming together. And then all of a sudden you're going, oh crap, because you got all these other things that are just starting to hit. It's not easy. There's challenges, there's obstacles that are coming your way, and you start losing sight. And sometimes I know we hear this so often, and we've fallen guilty of it as well, that you start letting these differences, you start letting these obstacles get in the way of your relationship as far as husband and wife, and you start allowing those to start tearing you apart throughout the year. And it's a lot of times it's not even big things, it's little things. You know, it's like, the day-to-day things that you might have had a previous family before, and now you're coming together and you're just not meshing, you're not jiving, because a lot of us, we don't know how to communicate these things, and we don't even know to communicate them. And so it's just these little things. And then you got your kids that are giving you pushback a lot of times, and then you're trying to figure out the whole co-parenting issues that come along with that. And so it really does. It seems like these little things that just nitpick at you throughout the year. And sometimes you're just done, you're tired, you're frustrated, you don't know you don't know how to interact with each other, and so you start losing that throughout the year. And I think that's what's really important, especially for step families, is for that married couple, you've got to take your anniversary serious. And this is a time to reflect back on why you came together in the first place, recreate some of those first moments, those first experiences. And, you got to let that be that, okay, let's throw this in the washer. Let's wash it, get it clean. Let's start back over. Let's reframe our minds a little bit.
Yeah, and it should be enjoyable. And that's the thing when it comes to celebrating your anniversary. And it comes around once a year. It's something that's special for just you and your spouse. It's not like your Valentine's Day or Christmas or birthday where there's, all different people celebrating all different things all the time. Like, this is something just unique for you and your spouse that you can make special for you two. And so we're going to share some different tips today on just prioritizing that and making it happen, because we can put all the excuses in front of it why we can't, especially as step family, when there's kids' schedules that we're working around or having to work around co-parenting and finding a babysitter. I mean, I think when it comes to finding time alone without your kids, there's a whole group of parents that don't ever want to leave their children alone. And we understand that there are scary things that come along with that, with leaving your kids alone. And I feel like sometimes people, moms especially, will use it as a bragging right. Like, I haven't left my kids alone in 12 years. And I'm like, that just breaks my heart, because you and your spouse need some alone time. There are things that you can't do on a family trip that you can do on your anniversary without your children. And your relationship needs those moments as well.
That's kind of when we were raising our kids and we first came together. That is, I remember like our first anniversary, we went big, and, our honeymoon was awesome. We did something away from our kids. And then our first year, we went big as well. We kind of went off and did our thing. And we tried to make that a point. And I know even whenever I had gotten to a place where it's like, oh, we don't have any money, we can't do anything, you were still so good at being creative enough to come up with some way to where we could get away, just you and I. And so we've really been intentional. We haven't gotten a lot of things right, but we have got a lot of things right, and this is one area that I feel has been very important, and we've seen a lot of fruit from it in our own marriage. And I think, what was it, year 2 whenever we got that advice? Mm-hmm. Wasn't that year 2 that we got away? And I think that was the year that we didn't really have a lot of money, and our second anniversary, and it was like, well, I guess we can't really do anything. And then you worked your magic, and we were able to get away. And then we go, and we're just kind of, you and I, away in a place, and then we go to I think there's a winery or something, a vineyard that was around. It's like, well, we'd never been to one. We've heard about them, so let's go see what it's about. And we pop in there, and one lady just gave us some amazing advice. Right?
Yeah, well, what was interesting about the advice coming from her is she was somewhat recently divorced, still hurting from her divorce, from what I recall in that moment. And when she heard that we were celebrating our anniversary, she just like, it was as if she teared up herself and telling us, if I could give you any advice, like, don't stop doing this. Keep prioritizing getting away and having time together like this, that you don't want to get to a place in your relationship, which is what she was telling us, is it got to a place in her marriage where they no longer were romantically in love with each other like that. It's kind of, they just got to a place where they were just like roommates, and then their marriage came to an end. And so she was encouraging us to keep it up, to make it a priority. And we fought for that every year. And I will give you some, if you are newlyweds or single, like Randall had said earlier, and you are thinking about coming into a blended family, you've been married before, and just some pre-wedding advice. Don't get married around your busiest time of year in whatever kind of career you are in. So like for me, I wanted to get married before I started teaching my first year. And so we really rushed it to happen. It was Labor Day weekend. And so
I proposed in March and we were married in August.
We were married in August, yes. So, but for me, there was a whole reason, because I didn't want to start teaching, you know, how we get in our head with these things. With my ex-husband's last name, I wanted to have Randall's last name, because once you start teaching, kind of get stuck what they call you. But I give you that advice, though, because your anniversary is going to happen every year. And yes, you don't have to celebrate on your actual like date or even the weekend of, but just knowing, like, if you're a tax person, you probably don't want to get married in tax season, because every year you're going to struggle to get away from your anniversary, because that's the busiest time. If you're someone who's like in some sort of trade and there's a certain time of year, like I would just say the AC people, I know they're very popular in the summertime.
Oh, yeah.
So you might not want to get married in the summertime, and your husband's going to struggle to take off work. So consider those things for one, if you can plan ahead.
Yeah, if you have that luxury, if you're in that season, or if you're in the season to where your anniversary is kind of like ours, you just have to be flexible. You don't necessarily have to celebrate it on your anniversary day. Yeah. Like this time we celebrated it like a month ahead.
Whole month ahead.
Yeah. And it was like, you know what? Because we know that the busy season kind of hits right around our anniversary, and we don't want that. So just being flexible as well is something that can benefit us. And then I think we're in a position now to where like ours falls at the end of August. And it's right around, was that Memorial Day?
That's Labor Day.
Labor Day. So it falls right around that holiday. But for us to even be able to push it back into September now, you know, if we got that option. So now we're able to go away and hit off-season times to where you get cheaper rates and less people. And it's like a win-win. So we can take some of those into consideration too.
Yeah. So you ready to give them the three
We
tips?
do have 3 tips.
So that was just a little bit of the like
little nuggets right there.
Why it is important in the success of your whole blended family, not just your marriage, but your whole blended family lies on the shoulders of your marriage and this relationship and how important it is. Yes, we put our kids' needs ahead of a lot of things in our lives, but putting your marriage before your kids' needs is putting your kids' needs first, because your kids need you to succeed. They need this marriage and this family to stay together. So we have to take these moments. So we're going to share with you 3 things.
Well, we always say this, that if you're not growing together, you're growing apart. And that's so true. You have to be intentional to work at your relationship, or else you're going to find yourselves growing apart, growing away from each other. Life will get in the way. Kids will get in the way. Activities will get in the way. Yeah. All these things are competing against your marriage, which your marriage is one of the strong points in your family. If that falls, everything falls, right? And so we always say it's the marriage. You've got to keep that together. Let God be the center. You know, keep God in the center of your marriage. Keep looking to Him. Keep that relationship strong, and let Him be that glue in your marriage. And then it seems like everything starts falling into place when you do. And this is just one area that you can really win in your marriage relationship right here. So.
Yeah, and we spend a lot of podcasts talking about the everyday and things to do and dating each other every week, every month. This is, and don't let it all fall on this moment of this anniversary trip. But this one specifically, we just want to point out how important it is to make this a special thing in your family. So
we do have 3 tips. We'll give it to them right after
right
this.
after this.
Right after this. Sound good? All right. We'll be right back.
Hey, have you heard of Get Out Pass? I hadn't either. I saw it on a friend's social media and I had to immediately look to see if my state had it because she lives in a different state than me. I was like, oh heck yeah, where can we sign up? If you are home for the summer and looking for things to do, you want to get yourself a Get Out Pass. You pay one time for each of your family members, a one-time fee, and it gets you in to all of these places around your community for free. It is so worth it. When I heard about this, I began to look into it and I was like, are you kidding me? It costs this much to get into every single one of these places. This is thousands of dollars that we are saving, and now we have the opportunity because of the one time that we paid to get into all of these places. These are water parks, climbing places, jumping places, arts and craft areas, boardwalks, theme parks, type activities. Then I took that list and I sent it to all of my kids and asked them, hey, which one of these things do you want to do? Now I have plans all summer long, even with my adultish children. And of course the grandbaby. These bigger cities are partnered with Get Out Passes. So go and check now, see if you have a city nearby that allows you to use this pass and then get it for your family. It will pay for itself in 1 to 2 visits. I promise you. And if you're part of our blended family community, use the code BFAM and you get 30% off. You buy it one time and you have all year to go to all of these places one time. Go get it, sign your family up, and do not sit at home this summer with all them kids. Get out the house and make some memories. Number 1 is you're going to do something every year. So we kind of already
Number 1
alluded to this. Is that the right word? Alluded?
Alluded. Yeah, that sounds.
Is that
yeah, that sounds
context clues?
Yeah, that's good.
But you want to do something every year. So we already said it doesn't have to be the exact date. It doesn't even have to be the exact week or weekend. You can pick a time that's going to work out best for you and your spouse, and when you can find a sitter that's going to watch the kids, but do something.
Yeah, make it special. You know, this is like we said, it doesn't have to be on the day. It can be on the day. It can be after, before. It doesn't matter. But just take that one time. And like we said, you got to work on your relationship all throughout the year, right? And we give so many tips and so many other areas on how to do that. This is one of those big ones that you want to, that annual thing that you want to be really intentional with. And you want to make it special. You know, and maybe you're struggling, you're financially or things like that. So whatever you do, you want to make it fit your budget. You know, so maybe this year you did really well and you had some bonus money or something that, or maybe y'all been putting, every month y'all been setting money aside for an anniversary trip, or maybe you just really didn't make a lot. Maybe you were struggling. This was a year of struggles or something. And trust me, we've been through many of those years before. And it's one of those that are like, okay, we're going to send our kids to our parents' house for the weekend. We're going to make a long weekend where it's just going to be us.
Yeah,
and
we've
we're going
had
to do
our
a staycation.
a staycation where we were going to go somewhere or do something and we just couldn't make it happen. And so we're like, okay, well, let's send the kids away and we'll just stay here and enjoy each other and unplug. We don't recommend that as often just because it is hard sometimes to shut off work at the house. There's things that still need to be done and you can kind of get in that mindset.
It's like, hey baby, I made you this nice dinner and dang, I really need to sweep these floors. Let me get sweeping the floor.
But, and you get into some routines.
Now I got to
vacuum.
vacuum.
Normally
If I
do.
swept, I got to vacuum.
Yes. Yeah, or like for Randall, there's some things like if he's like trying to relax here at the house, but there's projects that need to be done, like he's just focusing on the fact, not that he's going to necessarily go do them, but
it's hanging over my head.
Yeah, he's just like, he just feels the pressure of this has gone undone. How am I supposed to sit here and just do nothing? But if that's all you can do that year, I think we've probably done that maybe 3 or 4 out of the 15 years where we've just chose to stay home. We've done trips where it's been just a quick, one night away, or we've done trips that were, this last one we just went on was, we were gone for 4 days, 4 nights, right?
Yeah.
With just us. And then we went to visit some family on the tail end of that, but still in like vacation mode. We've done the big trips where it was going to be our 10-year anniversary. So we saved up for an entire year because we had this dream of going to Hawaii. And so we got a travel agent. We saw how much it was going to cost, and we put back and put back and put back. We sacrificed, and we printed out a picture of this couple sitting at the beach in Maui, and we set it on our countertop, and we stared at that when we wanted to spend money or we wanted to get discouraged throughout the year. But we got really creative on how we could save some money. We put back and we made it happen. What was really cool that trip, as soon as we got off the plane in Maui, that exact picture I had cut out of a magazine and put on our counter was the big billboard in the airport for it.
So like we're going down the escalator and we're like, are you serious?
That's our picture.
That's the picture. So it's almost like God saying, hey, this is it.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, you did well.
Yes.
So we were, that was really awesome.
Yeah. Or you might have the year that Randall was talking about that I had to get creative. My mom, during that season, they had bought a retirement home a few hours away, and they were still bouncing back and forth. So I was like, hey, is there any way we could use the house on this weekend? And so we drove up and had the house because they weren't going to be there. So there are different things. There's different ways. If you have a healthy relationship with credit cards and you can accumulate points and to be able to do that with money that you're already spending in that sense. So getting creative in your budget. It could be your camping. Now, maybe not if your anniversary is in August like ours.
That would be a bad time to camp.
Because several times I have planned a camping trip. Some of those staycations were because I planned a camping trip that ended up having to be canceled because I didn't think about the fact that it was going to be 100 degrees outside. And I forgot multiple times and tried multiple times. Anyways, but if you have, good weather, and it might be that you pay $20 for a campsite and y'all go pop a tent and lay out under the stars, roast some hot dog weenies and marshmallows and call that it. There's so many different ways.
So many ideas, yeah. So many things that you can do. But it really is. Do something every year. Make your anniversary something special. Make it a priority. And like we said, maybe it's some of those big years, your 5, 10, 15-year mark. Do something really huge on those. Go different destination or something like that, and make it really special. And, just whatever. Just make it something. Be intentional with it. Do something. Make it fit your budget.
And plan accordingly. If you want to do something big, start preparing 6 months, a year before so that you can make it happen, because you'd be amazed at where you can nickel and dime some things to put some money back, and you just pay for a little bit of it at a time, and then when the trip is there, you don't have to worry about that expense, and you can just use, like whatever your grocery budget was for your food while you're gone. So just planning it ahead of time like that. Yeah,
it really is. It's something special that you want to do. So number 2 is discuss your expectations. Hey, babe, what does this trip look like for you?
That's exactly what you want to say. What does this trip look like for you? And this last trip, it was funny because we discussed it after the fact. and really, in my head, we were going away on this trip. Randall really just needed some time. Like we hadn't taken a real vacation in a while because we were, starting our own business. And then he, got called into this position, and life was just different for us in the season. And so I was just looking for something for us to get away. Was the whole plan, was to get away. I found a place that was in the middle really of like nowhere, kind of. It was Fredericksburg, Texas, somewhere we'd never been, and I kind of wanted to go to. And I found a cabin that looked, just cute and adorable. We could rest, we could relax. It had a hot tub on the porch. You're looking at the big Texas sky at night. And so in my head, that was our trip. I brought some games in my bag. We were going to sit back and relax. And that's the opposite of what we did.
Well, and, it's funny. We talk about this, and it really is knowing what to expect going into that, or what each other kind of expects, helps you to where y'all can both be on the same page with this. And, that is really where you want to be. And I think on this trip for us, because we've been doing this for we celebrate our 15-year anniversary, that, for us, it was more of, I think our expectations together were just to get away. We didn't care really where it was. We didn't care, much of what we were going to do. We just knew we were going to spend some time together and we were going to get away. So that was, our main expectation was just to get out of the house, get away from work, from life for a little bit, kind of escape from that, and just go be together and go experience a new place. And we've really found, I think, freedom in that, to where I used to be such a detailed, I need to know what we're doing or where we're going, and kind of have the area mapped out. I need to map out exactly how to get to the area. I've really loosened up a lot over the years. You
have.
So yeah, this trip, I was like, I don't really care what we do. Let's just get away. Let's just go enjoy it.
Well, it was funny, and he wanted to be by the water, and so we had a little trip before that was by the water. But I basically went on Airbnb, opened up the map, and tried to find a spot that had decent prices, and had some accommodations that
wasn't too far away
that we were looking for, because we didn't want to drive too much of our vacation be that driving to the place. And so just opened it up and found a spot that just I'd heard people talk about. And so we're driving up for the vacation, and he's like, yeah, some person at work was like, why are you going to Fredericksburg? All that's there is wineries and shopping. And I was like, really? I mean, we seriously had no clue what we were going into. And then we start getting about 45 minutes away from the town, and it's winery after winery after winery after winery.
We quit counting. It was like, oh, wow. They were not kidding. There was like vineyards on both sides of the roads all the way down into this town. And then, you got the Texas heat on top of that. And that was one factor battling us, because you got, this year's been like crazy hot, so you got 105 degrees outside. And so, we're thinking now hot tub. It's like, it sounded so great. Hot tub on the porch. We're going to sit out at night. And then it's like, yeah, it's kind of hot for a hot tub.
It was, but it was still some of my favorite moments.
We enjoyed the being alone together, and we did have to turn the temp down.
Yeah.
Because it was like 110 for the temperature, and we tried to get in that first night, and it was like, and then by the time it's like any bathtub, whenever it's so hot, you finally have to settle in, and once you do, then you're just like sweat's pouring, and it's like, this is fun.
Yes, like, can I sit up and get some air?
But we made fun out of that. So we did have some really fun moments just being out by ourselves on a deck, nice stars, and should I say more? I don't think I need to say anymore.
I don't think you need to say anymore.
So we just had a really good time together. It was fun.
Yes. But back to the topic at hand is just making sure that you do discuss ahead of time, like, what do we want from this trip? Do we want this to be, and this is a very important question when you're planning big trips like this, what are you wanting out of it? Because if in your head you're thinking, I want to go visit all of these major places in this area, and you want to go, and that's what sounds fun to you, but your spouse wants to just unplug, unwind, do nothing, wake up slowly in the morning, Maybe go get breakfast somewhere and just chill, watch TV, play some games, maybe some music, whatever that looks like, getting on the same page and saying, hey, this is what I'm wanting. What do you picture it to look like?
Yeah, and it being able to conversate and ask those questions will save you so much headache. Because just like you were saying, if your expectations go, we got to hit and see everything, and the other person is, maybe on the opposite spectrum. I just want to sit on the couch, do nothing. So now if you're planning all these events and all these things to do, and then you're dragging the other along, they're miserable. Now, instead of this being a fun moment for y'all, one's being upset, and you can always tell it in each other whenever one's vibe is off or something, and so then that ruins your experience, and before you know it, both of you are at each other just like, this sucks, why are we even doing this? And that's the last thing you want. You want this to be the opposite. So it is that give and take. So if you are on both sides, then one's go, one's like laid back. Y'all have to compromise a little bit and talk about that beforehand. Okay, well, let's maybe hit a couple shops, and then we'll come back and we'll rest and we'll chill. And so now you're both expecting the same thing from the vacation. So now you can go in there and you can enjoy it, instead of one sitting there thinking one thing while the other is the other. You're talking about it that way. You're able to come together. Big deal.
Yeah, and that'll make all the difference right there. And if y'all know that ahead of time, and then when you get there, then you can maybe map some things out of what we want to do, but this time we're going to rest and relax and, get out. You don't have to have every detailed plan, but you don't have to not have a plan either. So y'all can compromise in there. And then the last one, number 3, thrice.
Didn't you miss me?
Yeah, they missed you a lot, because
everybody missed me.
That kind of weird stuff doesn't take place when it's just me and somebody else.
That's just good. I mean, that's just good, wholesome fun, laughter, and
When you've been married 15 years, though, because on the anniversary there were certain moments like, I am really shocked, because Fredericksburg was known for their peaches, apparently. And so peaches kept coming up all the time. And I'm like, I'm really shocked you haven't broke out into the song.
And I'm like, well, I did. It's in my head. I've been singing it. And, millions of peaches, peaches for me. Millions of peaches, peaches for free.
Yes.
Any Presidents of the United States fans out there? Come on. So, I was definitely singing that. But there were quite a few things that I would sit there and say, and you're like, I was waiting for that.
Yeah, I was waiting. Yeah, the part deux. And every time part two and part deux. And I was like, I'm waiting for you. Yep, there it is. There it is. Okay.
I nailed it.
But yeah, but part 3, advice number 3 is to create some traditions. So this is like
family tradition.
This is like a 2-parter tradition planning, because tradition, you think something that you do over and over again, right? When you come into a new relationship, a new family, there may be traditions that you've always done with your family prior that you do want to carry those into this family as well, because it gives both sides of the family a little bit of like comfort in what they've known before. But when it comes to your anniversary, you don't want to really bring in some of those old traditions, right? You don't want to do some of the same stuff that this is what you always did with your ex-wife when you came. Every year you took your ex-wife to this town for your anniversary. Maybe let's stay clear of that one.
Probably not a good idea. No. That'd be sleeping on the couch stuff right there, and you don't want to do that. So no, you want to do something new that's just special between the two of you.
Yeah, and then
create something, have fun.
Yeah, make it something that, okay, this is our thing. This is what we do. And every year, it could be that every year you go to a new small town, or it could be that every year you go to this town or this island or this whatever. You can just make some sort of tradition that becomes y'all's. Maybe it's every year you take a road trip to somewhere, but just as long as you're creating something that y'all look forward to, like, this is when we do this. This is our special thing together. And then on top of that is, don't be afraid to try something new in this. Like even when you're on your traditional yearly anniversary, but maybe stepping outside of the box and doing something a little bit different when you're on the trip. Because I know like when we were going up on this trip, we were, driving, seeing all these wineries, and wine's not really like I tried when we were, year 2, we said we went to a vineyard and a winery, and I liked the experience. I wanted to walk out on a vineyard and pick a grape and that kind of stuff and see the process, but I just don't have a taste for wine. And so what was interesting, we had no idea that this was all wineries.
This was wine country.
All over the place. But as we saw them over and over, and then the place we were staying had some suggestions on things to do. We're like, oh, well, we could go, I'm cool with trying out some new wines. And they do wine tasting. You pay like $25 or something, and they just give you a little bit of different kinds of wines. And Randall loves wine, and so he was able to experience something that he enjoys, and then I was able to just kind of like broaden my viewpoint on wines, and I actually found a few that I like. I'll say I more than tolerate, but that I was willing, like, this is something that I would buy a bottle. We can start unwinding in the back porch, because we've been trying to find ways to enjoy each other and unplug on a daily basis as well. And okay, what can we do? We want to start going to sitting out back as it gets cooler. We can pour a little glass of wine and go sit outside. So we'll see how all of that goes down. But
yeah. But and one thing that we like doing whenever we go out is that we look at like TripAdvisory and things like that. Whatever town we go to, even if it's an hour away, we still, okay, well, what's hot, what are people suggesting? But it's also fun for us to ask the locals, like, hey, what's a cool place? What's cool to do here? And get some of their feedback. And that was kind of some of the things that we did going into this one. We asked more, hey, so what are your recommendations for dinner and things of that? And sometimes they got some really cool ideas or suggestions of what's popular there, or what they think's really good, or maybe what's not even talked about much.
Yeah.
And just kind of be open to those experiences. And so, even if, we're saying create tradition, even if you're like, we like doing different things. We like going to different places. Sometimes we fly, sometimes we drive, and all the, we like new experiences and try new things. But one thing we do like is we like nature. So every place we go, we always try to find a little park or a little, garden or something area to where we can at least go walk through and just kind of enjoy that. So that's something that we always try to look for in some of these places that we go.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're so right about that. This whole trip was trying new things and asking our waitress at one restaurant, hey, what do you suggest for a winery? And then we're at the winery, hey, what do you suggest for a restaurant? Or what do you suggest, what's something that we must do before we leave here? And when you do that and get those suggestions, then it opens you up to new opportunity as well. And it ends up just being a good time.
Yeah. So it's good stuff. So listen, those are 3 things. Celebrate your anniversary. Make it a big deal. This is one of those things that you can mark on your calendar and y'all plan for it. And the great thing about that, whenever you do, is it gives you both something to look forward to together. It's one of those, we always say that you want to put things on your calendar. That way, we talk many different ways on how to do that through some of, the resources we have, but you want to do that with your kids. You want to do that with each other. And this is one of those big things that you do as a couple. Put it on your calendar and say, okay, plan the weekend that y'all can get away, or the week y'all can get away, and go ahead and plan that and decide what you're going to do. And put it on the calendar and go do it. And that gives you something that the whole year, the 6 months before you plan it, you're sitting there looking forward to it, saying, oh, I can't wait. This is going to be awesome. And then maybe you're sending each other cool things that you found about the place. No, we ought to go try this. We ought to go try that. And it builds that excitement and anticipation. It's a really great thing. It really helps build your relationship, build your marriage, keep you growing together instead of pulling apart.
Yep.
Good stuff. So listen, we love you guys. Go ahead. If you haven't put your anniversary on the calendar and planned it, now's the time to do it. Go do it. Just make it happen. Put it on the calendar. And then go on social media and let us know. Let us
Yeah.
know exactly, kind of saying, hey, we heard you, we did this, we're going here, and we'll celebrate with you. So listen, we love you guys, all the B fams out there. Y'all enjoy your family, and we will see you on the flip side. Love you.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope this episode has been a blessing and encouraged your family journey.
Make sure you stay connected with us and join our weekly Blended Family newsletter. We send an email out every Friday morning full of support and encouragement.
And when you join, we also want to give you a free gift. So go get yours today. The link is in the show notes below.
Have an amazing day. Remember to enjoy the journey with your blended family, and we'll see you on the next episode.